That's a
Right.
crossover.
We should be going live very shortly here. Yeah, I can go live on mine, so it'll be on mine. Hey, boys, how's it going? We are live now.
My
going
boys,
well.
what's going on?
Not too much, not too much. All right, let me turn off that song here. That's going to be hilarious. The intro of the video. So it caught a lot more of, it was recording more of us than we thought live.
That's fantastic.
All right, so if you didn't recognize, that is Marcus Wilson's voice. He is joining us here live on YouTube. That is his lovely smile. We got Trey and his lovely smile and his lovely voice. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Nice,
Of
nice.
course, Marcus is going to show up for the year-end awards.
Well, what can I say, Trey? You know me. Does 10%
I'm
of
glad.
I miss you guys. I'm sorry. Work's been crazy. I got a new job, so hopefully something that adheres to a better schedule and stuff. So hopefully you guys can see my face a lot more.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, Marcus is the guy who shows up to 10% of the practices, all the meets, and the award show.
Honestly, I like to think of myself as J.R. Smith, circa the 19 and 20 season when he got the ring.
We wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. Sounds great to me. Sounds great to me. All right. Well, like I told Trey beforehand, I got like 10 pages of notes here for us to go through. Lots has happened. Lots is going to happen the rest of the night.
Let's go.
Yeah, we got Golden State beating the brakes off of Memphis, basically. Memphis got into it a little bit, but then Dylan Brooks fouling out just kind of changed the whole game, and Steph Curry went off from there. They were showing some stats where Brooks held him to like 11 points, and the rest of the time it was like 34 points at that point.
It was MVP level stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah. So they locked up the 8 seed. Memphis is the 9 seed playing San Antonio going into this. Who do we think is going to win that quickly?
I like San Antonio. I think they're playing really good team basketball. I think Memphis is just struggling for Jaren Jackson Jr. to gel in coming in so late in the season. And they've been playing over their heads all year. I think it's just, they're coming back to the mean.
Yeah, they have to come back down to earth. Normally, I wasn't even going to bring up the whole Jaren Jackson not really gelling, but the fact that Dylan Brooks is out, Dylan Brooks being out really, I think, solidifies San Antonio winning the.
Well, he'll be back. He'll be back. He just fouled out, but
he just fouled out. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my!
he'll be back, but he needs to.
I saw that he left, but I wasn't sure. That was my apologies. I wasn't sure if it was over injury or I thought it was.
No, that's because he was playing Steph as close as he could. But no, I think the Spurs will win. They're on a roll. But that's not the game that really matters.
It's not, but I mean, if we have an opportunity, we should talk about the marvelous The Chosen.
It was, yeah. I think
we can do that when we do
we'll do that later on. I think, but they did mention that Dylan Brooks has like fouled out of a lot of games. He averages a fair number of fouls, so it's something to watch out for with him. If he doesn't step up and stop fouling, they might be in trouble with San Antonio. But we've got on the east side locked up 7 through 10, the playing game. The Hornets at the Pacers for the 10-9, and then Wizards at the Celtics. Was this the Celtics' worst nightmare? Or
to get kicked out of the playoffs by Russell Westbrook?
I mean, and then potentially the Pacers or the Hornets after that.
Being in the 9-10 or not making it at all would have been worse. But no, this is not optimal for the Celtics season, and they missed more games due to COVID than any other team by a significant amount. And on top of that, they had some injuries. Some guys just didn't seem to work out like they thought they might. They traded Daniel Tice because they knew they weren't going to be able to keep him around for lesser talent in Luke Cornett, and it's just hasn't worked out for the Celtics this year.
Trey, what do you think, in your honest opinion, what do you think was more damaging? Tristan Thompson not panning out the way they thought he would, or that space where Marcus Smart was out for like a good chunk of the middle of the season?
I think Thompson's not panning out. Tatum, like when Time Lord played and he did well, Tatum used that safety valve whenever he would start to get frustrated to use his bigs to get easy buckets. And Tristan wasn't able to let Tatum play off of him to get easy buckets when he needed them. And from there, Tatum just kind of spiraled into those long twos and the hero ball that he used to like to play his second year.
Kobe ball, we'll call it.
Right.
Kobe ball.
And I'm so hoping that the Wizards win this first game, so we get Westbrook against the Nets. And then the Celtics can win the second game, and we can get the Celtics against the 76ers, the team they swept last year. And I know they don't have Jaylen Brown, and the 76ers have the shooting, so we know it's not going to be the same, but it would still be it'd still be what I want to see.
So you mentioned that you want the Wizards to win, therefore they play the number 2 seed, and you're saying it's the Nets, but right now Milwaukee could get it. Should the Nets tank their game today to try and get away from that, drop to 3?
And play Jimmy Butler in the Heat? No, like that's not better.
Or Trae Young.
or Trae Young. No, that's not better.
No, yeah. Jimmy Butler would actually be a bad case scenario in the first round too, because we don't know how healthy all 3 of them are. We might need them to get through the first round to the second round.
The way I'm really hoping is shaking that we end up matching with the Bucks in the first round. That's what I really want.
I wrote an article last week, and that's how I said this is the first round we deserve. And that I had the Philly Celtics, I had the Nets, Wizards, I had the Heat and Bucks, and then I had the Knicks and Hawks. And that would be the best first round we could get in the East. You couldn't move the teams around better.
Yeah, no, I think the way it's set up is going to be good eats. It's going to be good eats to watch. I really still can't, sorry to jump around. I really still can't believe that New York really made it to the playoffs. Can we and when I mean made it, like, they didn't make it in by the skin of their teeth. They were actually
I promise you, when we talk awards here in a little bit, we're going to talk some Knicks.
All right, I'm all right. I'll just shut up. Just let me know I can start talking.
No, it was good. They locked up at least the 5 seed minimum, the 4 seed, or the 4-5 game. So basically, they can either have home court advantage or not in the same game for that. But yeah, the Knicks just, I don't know what got into them. But of tonight, what do you want to happen most tonight? We'll start with you, Marcus. In the games left,
I really want to see the Cavs come out there and really succeed. I want to see the Cavs win. I want to see Chicago win tonight for sure, because at this point, any win that they can get, I think they should just celebrate. I'm really interested about the Miami and Detroit game. I know that some of my pod mates are very high on Detroit and a bunch of their draft picks, Killian Hayes and Sadiq Bey. So
Isaiah Stewart, beef stew, man, not just those, all 3 of them.
All 3 of them. And you called it. You called it from the draft. You're like, all these 3 of these fucks are going to be something to watch out for.
Well, really, to be fair, it was like a couple months into the season. It wasn't before the draft. Killian Hayes, I was really high on.
You were high on Killian Hayes.
The other 2, I wasn't as high on until after.
We talked about Sadiq. We talked about Bey quite a few when we were doing our power rankings and stuff like that. I think so. But you were high enough on him for you to get the credit for it.
I'm like you pretty much though. Except I want the Nets to win because I want the Nets to be set up to where they can play the Wizards.
Right.
Really, the West is where I'm interested. I want the Lakers to end up in the 7th spot because I think the Lakers and the Warriors in the play-in game would be the best way to go. That's the most exciting. And then from there, you could get Dallas is probably going to be 5. So it'd be Dallas and the Clippers at 4, which I love that rematch. And I like the idea of Portland and Dame getting to play against Jokic. You've got Nurkic, who matches up pretty well with Jokic. Dame getting Jokic in the pick and roll might be able to get a game out of that. They would be interesting matchups. Where are you at, Marcus, on the West?
Here's the thing, like, I'm really not excited for that, because at that point, I just think that Denver's a better team than Portland. Like, I feel like if we're literally looking at all the pieces out there, like, okay, like, this is what we have, this is what we're working with. That just leaves the whole fact of Michael Porter. Who's going to guard Michael Porter Jr.? Effectively. And
So what about you, Sean? How do you think it's going to play out tonight?
Unfortunately, I would love the Lakers to lose, but I just don't see it happening. I think Pelicans are, just tanking for. I will get to the lottery later. I'm not too sure how it's going to shake out, if it's from what I've written down last night to.
I believe the Nuggets are playing their players limited minutes, so Portland should have the advantage talent-wise.
Yeah, Portland's going to come out. It's balls to the wall with them. There are no days off for Dayton. His career is going to be over just as fast as Iverson's was. I feel like. I think he's this generation's Iverson, and he's going to be done pretty soon. But I think Portland's going to win, especially if the Nuggets are playing limited minutes. It's Portland's in. I don't know who. So Portland wins. They have the tiebreaker over.
So would Dallas, if Dallas loses to Minnesota?
Yeah.
But Minnesota wants to lose, because if they win, they drop down in the lottery, and they don't want to give their pick up. So I think you're right. It's going to be the Lakers at 7, and then probably Portland at 6.
Yeah. So if Dallas, Portland, and Lakers all win, Lakers are in 7. So that's basically what I think is going to happen. Hopefully, is going to happen, because Lakers aren't going to win or aren't going to lose tonight. So
that's not happening.
No, I think it's clean W's all around.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, everyone who needs a W gets a dub tonight.
So I mentioned to Trey that I had our preseason, what we had guessed.
Bro, no.
So we'll play a game. Trey, what do you think was your worst guess?
In the Celtics. East? The Celtics being 4. I think I had them. Maybe no, I had them 5. I think I had the Celtics 5. And I think that was my worst guess.
The Knicks, honestly, will be all of our worst guesses, because
I'm not counting that, because no one expected that.
No, but I'm just throwing that one out there if any of the fans or anything are listening and they're like, the Knicks. No,
yeah, don't worry. No one had the Knicks on this, guys.
Yeah, you had the Sixers pretty high.
I had them 1, didn't I? I believe
I had. You were close. The Sixers, you had 2. You had Bucks 1, Sixers 2, Nets 3, Heat 4, Celtics 5, Wizards 6, Raptors 7, Hawks 8, Pacers 9, Hornets 10. So you got 9-10. Basically, the Raptors was probably your worst, and it's
the Raptors was rough.
It's going to be all of our worst.
The Wizards, I think they would have been closer to 6 if Russell would have been healthy.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, they're in the 8th spot, basically because Russell came back.
I'm very happy with mine. Marcus, what would you say was your worst?
I don't want to. Well, I don't know.
We've got Celtics 1, Heat 2, Nets 3, Bucks 4, Sixers 5, Raptors 6, Bulls 7, Wizards 8, Hawks 9, Pacers 10.
Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, not as bad as I expected it to be.
Yeah, no, just the Celtics. It was that Celtics at 1 that I knew was going to be right there.
Yo, but I'm telling you, but from the start of the season, looking at what they had, you could not tell me that team was in a finals caliber team. And then James Harden just ended up going to fucking, Brooklyn.
Right. No, when we did the preview, I said I think they'll finish 5, but I expect them to win their first round series. So how did you do, Sean?
I'm not much better than Marcus, to be honest. I got Bucks 1, Celtics 2, Heat 3, Nets 4, Raptors 5, Sixers at 6, Pacers 7, Bulls 8, Magic 9, Hawks 10. So
the Magic at 9.
The only one that got the Hornets.
I'm the only one that got the Hornets.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've had Lamelo Ball love since before the draft. I love Lamelo's game. I've loved what Scary Terry's done there. I've loved what Hayward gave them before he got hurt. And Lamelo's passing, it's that he's got that passing gene. It's even different from LeBron's. He's got the same vision as LeBron, but he's got the gene of like the Larry Bird and the Luka types where the passing is contagious. When LaMelo's out there, and even when he's not out there, his teammates look to pass more because he's their teammate. Scary Terry wasn't making the passes in Boston that he's making in Charlotte. Or it wasn't even making the passes
he wasn't even passing
that he was making now, thanks to LaMelo Ball. So, yeah, I'm really happy with my East. Now, the West, I don't remember nearly as well. So, that's probably going to be a little rough.
Yeah, that one I listened to last night. I re-listened to it. And we all picked Lakers 1. You 2 picked Mavs 2. I went Clippers. Trey Nuggets. Marcus Warriors at 3.
I was high on the Nuggets. Nice.
Clippers at 4 for Trey. Clippers at 4 for Marcus. I had Nuggets at 4. Trailblazers, Trey. Nuggets, Marcus. Warriors for myself at 5. Me and Marcus with the Suns. Warriors for Trey. Suns for Trey. Trailblazers for Marcus. Jazz for me. The Jazz was the worst for us. Then we go Trey, Pelicans, Marcus, Jazz, Trailblazers, me. Grizzlies, Pelicans, Spurs, Jazz, Kings, Grizzlies.
Now, in our defense, we did this preview before Gobert signed his extension. At the time, the thought was that was going to combust potentially. So that was where I was at with the Jazz. However, obviously looking back, it was a terrible, terrible mistake.
I'm
going to double down on it though. I'm going to double down on it because if the Warriors play the Jazz in the first round, there's a good chance I'm picking the Warriors.
Marcus, what do you have to say about that?
I'm going to die on this rock. But the only reason why the Mavs were so pissed poor was because Kristaps Porzingis was literally a non-factor. Everything else, I know they started out slowish, with Luka's gaudy shooting, and I know that we did this all before, but I have no regrets. Like in a perfect world, my list should be correct. It's just that injuries happen, trades happen. Oh, by the way, James Harden plays for the fucking Brooklyn.
The West. I don't feel like anything was too terrible for any of us. The Jazz is rough. The Jazz
Jazz one I will take on the chin, but everything else, we weren't really wrong. It's just that all our top tier teams that we have had significant injuries happen to them that have literally derailed them.
Yeah, and we didn't factor in the Jazz were the team that had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Having that immunity probably helped. I bet if we looked at their COVID missed games, they're probably on the lower end because they had it first. It went through their organization, and then from there, I don't remember them getting hardly any missed COVID games.
So are we saying that what Rudy Gobert did was literally a blessing in disguise?
Yeah, that's where we're at with it. Good job, Rudy.
My man shut down the league just to come back as the number 1 seed. I'm going to
factor that in when the awards come around.
Revisionist history on that.
So what's next on your 10-page report paper?
So next, let's get into the awards, the regular season awards.
Let's go.
We'll start. Are you guys okay if we start with the MVP? Because I think there will be a lot of the same there.
Yeah,
and I think some of the others we will get into a little more.
Yeah, I think this one we'll be civilized.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the MVP. How do you guys want to do this?
I'll list my 5, and you guys can go off of it from there if you want.
Yeah, all right. I'm just going to give a 3.
I got Jokic first. I moved Curry to second.
Whoa.
I've got Embiid third. I've got Giannis fourth, and I've got Gobert fifth.
So you went with Gobert, eh?
I did.
I had to put Dame in. I had to put Dame in. I couldn't keep Dame out. Like he's just
Dame is
absolute
6 for me.
monster.
It came down to Dame or Rudy.
Marcus, what about yourself?
Oh man. So number one, I had Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
I had Steph at, I was really torn between putting him at 2 or 3, but just to be contrarian, I'll put him at 3. So then I had Embiid at 2nd.
Yeah, I went that as well.
I really wanted to make Steph first because I know that the MVP is always narrative based. So I mean, the narrative that he's had for this entire season, literally loses entire dynasty, right? You're dealing with old man Dre. You have Wiseman. The Wiseman's injured, and yet you're literally dragging. Honestly, fuck that. I'm putting Steph at first. Fuck it. I'm putting Steph at first. Steph deserves to be MVP.
Embiid was dominant. I feel like he's getting kind of pushed to the back with Curry having such a good day. If Embiid had played as many games as Curry, I would have had Embiid too. The Warriors are 1-6 without Steph this year. He drugged that team to this play-in. If Embiid had missed, like Embiid missed a bunch of games, and we see they're still the number 1 seed. So to me, that just it knocked him a little bit. I still had him 3. I still think he was amazing, and I know you have Curry 1. Jokic, he didn't miss a game. The way Curry's shooting and gravity runs the Warriors offense, Jokic does the same thing in terms of being the entire offense for the Nuggets and just running everything there. It was unreal. I'm so happy for him. I'm glad he's getting the recognition. Good for Jokic. Well deserved, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to save my Jokic love for an award down the line here for it. Just I was pleasantly surprised that my eyes did not deceive me on things that were happening. So Jokic, Curry is deserving as well, and I think Embiid, does deserve a shout out as well. I think it's an excellent year, and if LeBron was healthy most of the year, he could have been part of it as well. I think this was an excellent season of NBA. And I think as fans, we should be very happy that we got to see that. The next one I had was the Defensive Player of the Year award. So who wants to share their list? And then we can go from there.
I thought it was just Rudy Gobert's award at this point. I don't like the list, to be honest with you, I thought it was just like Rudy.
I put Capella second. I thought he did. Rudy, him and Miles Turner were neck and neck for doing the Rudy Gobert impersonation. Miles Turner actually held opponents to a better rim percentage than Gobert, but he missed too many games he just kind of got disqualified because of that. I put Capella second, and then I had Ben Simmons third. I thought what he did was really good guarding just everyone. His
switchability.
But Gobert, I know you see the GIFs of him, getting put on an island and looking silly. But he doesn't really get played off of the court, even in the playoffs. He's the anchor on that team. Of the number 1 team in the West. That entire team revolves around him, and he's just excellent. And it's so fun to watch him. And he doesn't foul. That's another thing. His foul rate is just unreal for how many shots he contests.
Yeah, I can understand that. I went Ben Simmons at 1 just because of the factor that he can switch and play all 5 positions, and you don't have the gifts of him getting put on an island. And I think that's the default of where the NBA is going. I think Rudy Gobert kind of falls victim to it. And unfortunately, if people stopped going to the rim, he would kind of get played off the court. He's only there because of the driving part, but teams like Golden State can kind of just shoot him out of the lineup.
Right. I had Bam number 3 on my Defensive Player of the Year list. Just for everything, the gravitas that he brings, whether it's you stick him on a smaller offensive person or just put him on the big, he's able to keep in front of them. He doesn't rush on his offensive stance. He literally gives what the offensive takes him. And Miami's literally known for their defensive identity, and literally Bam is the reason for that.
Let me put a little on the Simmons pushback. Now, the reason I had him third, I think he's probably almost as good, if not as good of a defender, but having Matisse Thybulle and Joel Embiid playing defense alongside him, I knocked him a little for that, Whereas Gobert, he doesn't really have any other plus defenders around him anymore. He is the sole plus defender on that defense, whereas Simmons is surrounded by plus defenders.
Yeah, can't really argue with that.
And we're nitpicking here. These guys are both great. I'm not.
No,
Simmons' pick is 100% valid. They both are very deserving.
Yeah, I get it. You're exactly right. We're going to see in some of the later awards, just how much excellent defensive presence he has around him and that he's surrounded by. So, but I think, again, it's another great year. I think Gobert just kind of did what he needed to do and will get recognized for it.
Yo.
Coach of the year. Who do we got at Coach of the Year? So I'll go first this time. So my list was Quinn Snyder, Steve Nash, and James Borrego. Quinn Snyder, just because I had them, seventh? I had them.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about them on the offensive end. We've talked about Gobert on the defensive end, but we haven't talked about that team on the offensive end and how they're winning so many games and playing so high above. And I got to give it to Quinn Snyder. Coach K goes down. I hope he becomes our coach at Duke.
For my coaching, I had Quinn Snyder as number one. I definitely had to give it to the Jazz for their record. Pushback, instead of having Steve Nash, I had Monty Williams for Phoenix out there. I just think the turnaround that they've had is completely impeccable. Chris Paul looks rejuvenated. I mean, Chris Paul never looked bad, but the way he's able to rejuvenize that offense and literally make him to a legitimate contender in the West, I think cannot be understated. And I got Tom Thibodeau at number 3 for the Knicks because, again, the Knicks are in the playoffs, and we see anything more about the situation. And not only are they're actually playing good basketball-oriented team, that he's taken this team of waywards and people who are defensive liabilities and literally has everyone locked in. The offense, I mean, they don't really have that many, offensive pieces. I mean, they're literally playing through Julius Randle as their number one option, but the turnaround and the potential and the future for the next couple of seasons is endless.
I had Monty Williams for the Suns 1. The Suns, even before Chris Paul got there, they went 8-0 in the bubble. When Ayton wasn't suspended last year, they had a winning record. They were on the upswing, and Chris Paul just puts them over the top. He knows how to keep an offense running. I had Thibs second. The Knicks and what they've been able to do on the defensive end has just been game-changing for them. Like Marcus was saying, Randall's been unreal on offense. RJ Barrett and him have a great chemistry. Barrett's really finding his way in the NBA. But defense has been their hallmark, and it's really been about their centers challenging the three-point shots and guarding them. Nerlens Noel, Mitchell Robinson, and Julius Randle. No center rotation in the NBA contests as many three-point shots as theirs. And I really think that's the big key to why they've been so successful. I put Taylor Jenkins third. I know it's kind of controversial to not have Quinn Snyder. I just think what Jenkins has done without having Jaren Jackson Jr., with having John Morant, having a bit of a down year compared to last year, and being able to piece all that together and to make it into the play-in as the 9 seed is just been really impressive. It's been a great coaching job by him. And I think he's just getting a little overlooked, so I wanted to give him some love.
Since we're giving love to people, I also want to give a shout out to Nate McMillan for what he's able to do with Atlanta. Especially the fact that he came in there halfway through the year when they ousted Lloyd Pierce and put him in there. Literally has Trae Young.
You could say the same for Finch in Minnesota.
Yeah, you could. But I don't want to talk about Minnesota.
Yeah, and the Trey Nash one is just because I heard somewhere he had 27 people have played for the Nets this year.
Yeah, they've got so much talent. It's hard for me to give it to them.
But the fact that you're dealing with that many different people coming in the rotation to kind of get up to go, and you don't know who's showing up, if they're showing up, when they're showing up.
How many games did they have none of the big three?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When you have even one of the big three, you've got a game plan.
I guess.
Yeah, you literally have three number one options on the team.
I'm not trying to like. It's great the job he did to, especially to manage all that, because Kyrie coming and going for his mental health issues, which I love the fact that the team was so willing to deal with him on that. But that's not something that's been done a lot in the NBA, and being able to navigate that while there was so much hate and vitriol on social media, and even blowback on podcasts and stuff, like Bill Simmons knocking Kyrie off. I think he knocked him off his All-NBA team, or almost did, because of missing. Like, being able to navigate that stuff, Nash showed how great of a head coach he is in the Phil Jackson role, and they've been super successful. I was just more impressed with what the other guys have done, because they did it with less talent, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's fair points.
He was on the short list. Quinn Snyder was on the short list.
Tell Caleb I said what's up.
I will. So what was the next award?
The next one was Rookie of the Year.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Trey, let's go with you.
All right. I've got Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, and then Halliburton. I know I'm a big LaMelo guy. I've been on LaMelo Island forever. I know I was down on Anthony Edwards, but if this was a regular year, I would give the award to LaMelo. But LaMelo has an older brother who's in the NBA. He has another older brother who is going to go play overseas professionally. He has a dad who has been training them forever. He came in, not having a training camp for him and being able to come into the NBA wasn't nearly the shock that it was for Anthony Edwards, a guy who was a football player who just started playing basketball, who played at Georgia, so for me, the first month that Anthony Edwards had, where it was rough, but he's been so good since then, combined with the fact that Melo missed some games. And just as the year ends, if I could have Anthony Edwards or LaMelo as a player going into the playoffs, I would rather have Anthony Edwards over LaMelo. And I know it sounds crazy if you look at some of the numbers, but his ability to not catch and shoot threes, but pull up threes. So he's dribbling, he's doing step backs, he's creating above the break threes, giving himself driving lanes, not just for those huge dunks that we see, but his ability to bounce off of guys and to create space with that football player frame he's got. He's really learning how to play in the NBA, and I wouldn't be surprised if he leads the league in scoring sometime in the next 6 years. I think he's that special of a talent, and I think he was the Rookie of the Year by a hair over LaMelo. And I think they're both franchise players. No hate towards LaMelo.
Right. I didn't expect his step back three to be as potent as it's been throughout the year. I know you bring my actual list is kind of this. I'm not trying to really steal your list, Trey, but it's the same as your list, really, because at this point I think it was really a 3 rookie, maybe a 4. I want to add Emmanuel Quigley in there, but I didn't see enough from him for me to be able to be like, okay, at this point, this is he's top 3. Tyrese, number 1, shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, because we all know I didn't expect him to be that good, especially at number 11. The things that he's doing, it's the tandem that him and De'Aaron Fox can make, especially just with both their passing, both their ability to get to the hole is astounding. I have LaMelo as number 2 on my list. I don't need to really get into much for that. I mean, you see how he plays, you see his passing, you see the way that in his rookie year that he is literally surmounted himself as a leader of that Hornets team. The fact that they're even to be so competitive without him, I just think pulls to the gravitas that he has on the team. And it's a lot easier for a team to know where you're going, what you're trying to do, when you actually have it effectively be like, okay, this is number 1, this is our A player, everyone else is B and beyond. And then when you're able to figure out that hierarchy, it opens up your whole team and your whole system to flow a lot better. Anthony Edwards, I remember, it's so funny because I remember before, when they first started, when the information started coming around him, and people were like, he's like, yeah, basketball's cool, but I prefer football. And everyone's like, well, is he really going to be about this basketball shit? And he is. I remember what game was it? He made like 47 points off like 20 shots.
I'm not sure, but you're right. His competitiveness and his desire to be better than his peers at something,
right?
That supersedes the fact that he might not love basketball the way some of us love basketball. He loves being better than people. He loves winning.
And then that's what I was alluding to. It's just like, you know, all those running gags that we hear about football players trying to play basketball, how they're too aggressive, how they do this, how they don't have the grace, everything, like they don't have the grace or they don't have the finesse. Anthony Edwards is literally proving all that shit wrong. He's like, yeah, I'm going to play football. Yeah, I might be a bruiser, but I'm still going to be able to do the things, execute. I'm not going to foul too much. I'm not going to be too aggressive. I'm not going to be too, what's the word I'm looking for? Excuse me. I'm not going to be unbridled or like unrestrained. And to see the growth that he's had just in this entire season is super exciting to see what he's going to bring in the next coming seasons. I don't know if he's going to win a scoring title, but he's definitely everything Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be.
So what about you, Sean? Who do you have?
I'm wearing my Grant Hill Magic jersey because I have Lamelo and Edwards are tied.
Shut the fuck up. We're not doing that.
I'm doing a tie. I can't choose between the two of them.
There ain't no such thing as halfway crooks.
They each get 2.5 points. But like, as you guys are talking, Edwards, you're exactly right. He didn't start off very fast. And Lamelo, if Lamelo was,
he also did have a coaching change. I forgot to mention when Finch came in and they actually started running some offense. It's been night and day for him. And D'Angelo Russell's been back.
Yeah, and he reminds me, like, he's kind of like a Dominique with a 3-point shot. The way he can go at the rim, and he's so athletic, but to be able to shoot as well, because that's at the beginning of the season, all you thought he was going to be somebody in the lane, skying, trying to dunk with an occasional 18-footer or something like that if he gets stopped. But he really expanded his game, and he's in there because of LaMelo's injury. Honestly, LaMelo having if he hadn't been injured and had a full year of what he did, would have given him the rookie of the year in my mind. But that injury kind of kept the door open for Edwards, and Edwards took advantage of it when it happened.
So I'm calling that Edwards the 1A. Edwards is the consensus for the pod. I'm happy with that.
Yes.
What's next?
So next we've got Sixth Man of the Year. Marcus, who do you got for Sixth Man of the Year?
Honestly get Jordan Clarkson. What?
Oh no, nothing. You got Clarkson?
Yeah.
He's 2 for me.
Yeah, I got Clarkson. I just I got to give them credit for being that lift off the bench, because I know that Donovan Mitchell, the way the Jazz are constructed is it's not sustainable. They don't have the personnel to have all these great shooters. So I love Quinn Snyder's abilities. Like, okay, we're gonna have Donovan here, but like when Jordan Clarkson's in, Jordan Clarkson is in. And I'm never gonna say I was always the biggest Clarkson fan, but I felt like he did get a bad rap, especially from even when his career started out in LA. So I just think he's just been out here balling like a bitch.
No, I had Clarkson 1 the first half of the year. His shooting's been a little down, and he still hasn't learned how to pass much. Really, my thing is it comes down to what do you want out of your sixth man. Ingles has started a third of their games due to people missing games. With it being a shortened season, people have been trying to rest. So he started more games than usual. To me, the perfect sixth man can come in and help your team win however you need them to help you. They can come in and help you win. They can just come in and be a factor. So Ingles being able to step in for Conley, for Mitchell, for Bogdanovich, O'Neal, whoever he needs to step in for and do whatever the team needs, and while he's continuing to shoot some insane numbers, it just kind of bumped him up over Clarkson. You can't go wrong with either of them. Brunson was 3 for me in Dallas. He's just he should be a buck. What about you, Sean?
I want to reward an older player for doing exactly what we've always wanted him to do.
The Derrick Rose.
Carmelo Anthony.
Oh God.
He has only started 3 games, 13.5 points a game, 1.5 assists, 3 rebounds, and he's shooting well. His effective field goal has gone up, and his free throws have gone up. His 3-pointers is 40%. So he's doing exactly what we want Carmelo to do, and I think he should get rewarded for that.
I'm here for it. Carmelo Anthony as 6th man of the year. Sean, that is a great call.
My number 2 is Cam Johnson. I think he should be starting for Phoenix, but he's the 6th man off the bench. And number 3 is Miles Bridges out of Charlotte. He is absolute dynamite.
I was thinking Bridges in Phoenix. Sorry.
No, Miles Bridges out of
Miles,
Charlotte.
not Mikhail.
Right.
Yeah. No, Miles Bridges is absolute, like, Toronto's played Charlotte a bunch because of the proximity to Charlotte in Tampa, and Miles Bridges was an absolute killer on the second unit. It was ridiculous.
Man, you really went off board there.
I like that though.
Those were good. Those were good. So what's next then? Most improved?
Most improved player.
This one's another obvious like MVP, right? It's Randall.
Yeah, it's Randall.
Randall.
Well, about that. Remember how I said I was gonna dole out some Jokic love on you guys?
Oh, you got
Yeah,
Jokic.
okay.
Okay.
So last year, Jokic averaged 20 points a game. This year, he's averaging 26.5. Last year, he averaged 7 assists. This year, he's averaging 8.5. Last year, 9.7 rebounds, 10.9. Free throws went up 0.05%. Effective field goal went up almost 0.5%. Two-pointers went up over 60, and almost 40% in 3-pointers. Played every game, tons of usage. He's my most improved player of the year.
God damn, you want to get MVP and the MIP?
It was that good of a season.
I don't hate the take. It's a good one. I still think it's Randall. I thought Jokic was this good last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just that his teammates have gotten better. Murray was a little bit better. Porter's been significantly better this year.
Mm-hmm.
And him having a better team around him, the spacing, opening everything up, it's just let him excel. Whereas Randall, I feel like, and I know they got to leave early because of the teams that didn't get invited to the bubble had a long off season, so he got to train a lot. But the difference in the player that Randall was before and the player that Randall is now, it's just so significant for me that it's hard to ignore. I had Jeremy Grant for Detroit too. I know his percentages went down a little on shooting, but he's getting so much attention on defense, along with his usage going up so much. If both of those things go up and you don't lose much on your shooting percentages, I'm calling that a win.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had Clint Capella third. I thought getting that chemistry with Trae Young, being able to anchor the defense the way he has, and just dominate on the boards with multiple 20 rebound games. I thought he did really well this year. So that's my 3.
Marcus, who'd you have at 2 and 3?
At 3, I had Michael Porter Jr. Just from the thing, I think that's just the only reason why I have him on this list as an MIP is because the limited usage for last year. But this year, I mean, he literally stepped up majorly with the departure of Gary Harris and the injury of Jamal Murray. Clearly their second option at this point. Yeah. And it's the flashes that you see, you literally see that he's modeled himself after Kevin Durant's games. It's almost scary. It's super scary things that have in common. And for second, to be honest with you, I didn't even get that far. Like, it's funny because like I like to do things for like, all right, who do I have and like who do I don't have? And like honestly, if I had to plug in someone for second, it would probably be it might be Miles Bridges.
Yep.
Just for the growth that they've had as Phoenix. Literally
Also
that boy is
Mikal?
huh?
That's Mikal then.
Miles. I meant to say
Charlotte or Phoenix?
Charlotte.
Charlotte is Miles. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, which one did I say? I thought I said
you
Miles.
said Phoenix. The improvement of
my
Phoenix.
fault. Yeah, no, Miles. Yeah, Miles. Yeah, I'm definitely Miles Bridges. I think he averaged like 16, 17 points this season.
Yeah.
He's lit. It's super hard to say who's the Robin to Lamelo's side Batman, but a lot of people want to say it's it's scary Devontae Graham or Scary Terry. I gotta give it to Mikal. Number one, he has a lot larger size. He doesn't play a guard position. You can put him on people on and off ball. I think just a stud.
Scary Terry is the Batman in Charlotte.
Shut the fuck up, Chase.
First and foremost, Scary Terry is, I don't know who's a good team. Think Scary Terry is Iron Man, and then Lamelo and Bridges can be like Black Widow and Hawkeye.
First of all,
we don't need to go into this. We do not need to go into this because we will spend 2 hours.
Just one question. Why did you pick the two people that are average Joes? Why can't they have powers?
Well, I was trying to think of two guys the two teammates who work together. So it could have been Rocket and Groot, I guess. But I was trying to think of duos.
Oh no, it could have been Thor and Groot.
No, they don't get together a lot. It would be Rocket and Groot if it's one.
But when they do, it's literally it's magic. It's a masterpiece.
So anyway, after that we've got our. I don't know if Marcus.
Well, I have to give my second and third.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So my second is Zach LaVine out of Chicago. I just absolutely thought he made a step up this year and carried Chicago, almost took him to the playoffs. And I had Mikal Bridges out of Phoenix. I thought the way that he stepped up just helped that team so much. I just thought he improved, like he did everything that we thought he was going to be when he was drafted.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
All right, so now we have the All NBA teams. So Trey, why don't you start off with your first team?
Okay, first team. I feel like you've got 4 consensus really with Jokic, Giannis, Curry, and Luka. For the most part, that they were the easiest ones for me. So then I had a forward spot open. I used that on Kawhi.
Are we allowed to use Doncic as a forward?
You can.
Yeah, because I put Dame in as the second guard.
Okay, and then did you have Luka as the other forward?
Yeah, as the other forward.
I thought about doing that. I decided I couldn't put Luka was so much a guard on offense. I felt kind of guilty putting him there.
Mm-hmm.
And with Dame's slight fall off whenever he was winded, I was okay with putting him second team. But I almost did that. So we almost had the same first team. What about you, Marcus?
I had Luka and Steph as my backcourt. I had what's that Bull's name? I had Tatum. I had Tatum and Giannis as my forwards, and I had Jokic.
You had Tatum on the first team. Oh yeah. Man, I didn't even have him on my third team.
Bro, are you dead ass?
Oh yeah. So on my second team, I had Embiid, I had Randall, I had Paul George, Dame Lillard, and Chris Paul.
The only thing is I didn't have Paul George on my list.
Yeah, I didn't have Paul George.
No, I had LeBron. I had to give LeBron second team.
I couldn't not reward George with how he's been able to carry the team when Kawhi's been out to the record they've got. He's been the engine on the offense when Kawhi's not been there, and his defense has been really good again this year. From whenever I've watched him, I wanted to show him some love. I love me some playoff Paul, guys. Some way
off Paul, some push off Paul.
Lamelo had a shot to tie in the last minute today, and it hit the side of the backboard. Made me think of playoff Paul.
Okay. Well, since I had Kawhi and Randall because I didn't have Kawhi on my first team, and Embiid, and then I had CP3 and Bradley Beal as my second team.
I like that.
Marcus, what did you have as your second team?
I had Chris Paul. I had Damian Lillard. I had Julius Randle. I had LeBron, and I had Embiid. Yeah.
Third team.
LeBron as my third team.
Me too. Gobert. I had Gobert for my center.
I have Gobert as my center. Sorry, go my turn.
Oh, Gobert, LeBron, Jimmy Butler for my other forward. I've got James Harden for my guard, and then I've got Bradley Beal as my guard.
I kind of left James Harden off my list, guys. I kind of forgot about James Harden.
I don't blame anyone who doesn't have him after he missed the games with his injury. And if you want to count his games in Houston as missed games or at least not positives, I wouldn't blame you. He was just so good when he was on the court. And when he came back and filled in, in Brooklyn, even in Houston, he played well. He
did, but it's like when he took off the fat suit in Brooklyn, he literally like unlocked. He would start passing, he started playing defense and shit.
Yeah, it's the Brooklyn Harden that I have on my third team All NBA.
Right.
How about
it's kind of hard for me to give him that. It's kind of hard for me to give him that point on the list, especially when you consider how he kind of forced himself into that situation against Brooklyn. So it's kind of like I kind of don't want to reward you for literally.
I know.
I actually went with my guards were Booker and Mitchell, and then I had LeBron, Butler, and Gobert.
I like that.
Yeah, I just thought Booker played so well with Paul. I didn't want to reward Harden. Kyrie didn't play enough games. If I was going to take anybody on the Nets, it would have been a Kyrie. Unfortunately, he still didn't play enough games.
No, my third team was actually really hard, especially when it came to the guards, because initially I revised it, but ideally I really wanted to put Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal as my in my third team, because I mean
2 third teams in a row for Russell.
Right. Maybe if he hadn't had the torn quad and played the whole year,
That's so. What I'm going to do for that is I'm taking out Russell Westbrook and I'm putting in Donovan Mitchell. I got Jimmy Butler and Anthony Davis as my forwards, and I got Gobert as my center.
And you had Beal with him, with Donovan? Yeah. Okay. No, that's can't complain about those.
So defense or rookie?
Rookie. I'm not prepared for all defense. Like I need.
Oh,
don't worry, I got you on defense.
I saw Trey had 2 teams, and I was like, wait, there's 2 teams for rookie and defense?
Knowing Trey's ass, Trey has third teams for everything that we have.
I mean, I had enough people that I cut that I could definitely make a third team, no problem. However, I did not. I only made the 2 teams. I'm sorry that I made 2 teams, guys. So, all right, my rookie team, I had Edwards, Melo, Halliburton, Sadiq Bey, and Jaden McDaniels in Minnesota.
Yeah, I really had no qualms with that. Basically, I was like, oh, we can go positionless? Sweet, cool.
Yeah, rookie, they go positionless. So I don't make the rules.
Marcus, how do you feel about that? Is there anybody you wanted to be on there?
Oh, man. Yo, you're gonna hate me for this. But before his injury, Denny was turning the curve, guys.
Denny's not on there, but I know he'll be back.
He was looking good.
He was looking good. When Westbrook came back from his injury, they were starting to gel, and then
they were starting to gel.
So he'll be back next year, but no, he didn't make it this year.
Oh, good. No, he shouldn't.
All right. So the second team, I had Tate from Houston. Is it Jayshawn Tate?
Yeah, Jayshawn
Tate.
Emmanuel Quickly from the Knicks. Desmond Bane from Memphis. Patrick Williams from Chicago. I'm a homer.
Why did you not put Patrick Williams on your first team, though?
Because he wasn't good enough to be on the first team.
That would have been the true homer pick.
Right. But his defense was good. against almost always the best player.
Yeah.
And
Right.
his offense was passive, but good when it showed. And then I
But
had Isaac Okoro from the Cavs as my fifth guy. He's really showed out the last like half year. I think if we would have had a training camp, he would have been better suited. And with Garland starting to get a better feel for how to pass in the NBA, Okoro is really taking advantage.
How's his shooting? How's his shooting? I didn't watch a bunch of Cavs. How has his shooting progressed throughout the season? Since I know
I know he's done better. I don't have the numbers
because
in front of me.
I know one of the things for him, like one of the knocks of when they were drafting was like he's not really a shooter, and I know that he's gotten better at it. But I just want to know at what point. If you don't know, it's fine. Like I'm just
for the year he's shooting 36% on corner threes and 29% on all threes.
You can work with that. That's not bad though.
That's something to work with.
You can work with that.
That's in 66 games.
Yeah.
I just went and sorted from March 1st, and I'm waiting on it to load. I didn't think it would take that long.
Yeah, the rookie class this year it's going to take a couple of years for us to figure it out. It's not one of those ones where we know we know there's like the big three, as we had in our basically top three rookie of the year talk. We only named three people. Quickly was brought up, but I think Isaac Okoro is one of those players that's kind of going to grow like potentially a Kawhi Leonard, just like a Patrick Williams is. And I think second team all rookie is fine, and we'll see in a couple of years.
So what about your defense team, Sean? What were your all defensive teams?
Rookie, you skipped ahead on me. Okay.
So for this, are you also going positionless?
No, this one had positions.
Okay.
So I had Ben Simmons, obviously.
Obviously.
Well, if you name him your defensive player of the year, you probably should put him on first team all defense. Rudy Gobert. I had Draymond Green, Giannis, and I want to go Jimmy Butler at guard here.
I don't blame you. I put Drew Holiday at guard instead of Jimmy Butler, but I had the same four: Gobert, Giannis, Draymond, and Simmons. What about your second team? Did you have a second team? Did you make a second team after you saw mine?
No.
Okay, no, well, mine was I had Capella, I had Bridges from Phoenix, I had Jimmy Butler, I had Matisse Thybulle, and I had DeJounte Murray from the Spurs. I wanted to give him some love for he's been a beast on the perimeter this year. It's just been really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was, as I mentioned in our chat, it was either the Raptors Pacers game or Suns Spurs, and I flipped over to that for a little bit, and DeJounte Murray was picking somebody's pocket as I was flipping over. So it was pretty fun. It was pretty hilarious that was happening while I'm working on getting the schedule going for this show. So that's a really good pick. I like that one. And Mikal Bridges, yeah, just that's my guy.
So, all right. I'm excited for these games tonight, getting ready to start.
Yeah, shit. I think the Lakers starts at what, 9?
So yeah, now we've got Magic up on the Sixers at halftime, 65-60.
I was looking at that while we were doing the pod. I think in like the first half, some shit like that, Cole Anthony had like 17 points from like 6 from 10. I was like,
he's 23.
There it is.
5 rebounds, 1 assist.
That game doesn't matter though. We've got the Nets up 11 at halftime on the Cavs, so that it looks like they're going to seal up number 2.
Yeah,
and then we got the Hawks up 15 on the Rockets, so they'll probably seal up 5.
Okay.
And then the rest will be later tonight for the West.
I'm more worried about how the Western Conference is going to shake up more than I am about the Eastern.
I wanted the Nets to win so we could get Westbrook. I wanted Westbrook against Durant to be possible.
No, and Harden.
And Harden, but I know and Harden, but it's the rivalry. The rivalry is Westbrook and Durant. I want Westbrook to drive and have to dunk on Durant's head because Durant's going to be the 5 and the rim protector when it comes playoff time, and Westbrook is going to drive on anyone and everyone.
Yeah. No. So that's, and then the other game, was there one more game that we had going on? And then Hawks are up 72-54 at halftime on the Rockets.
Yeah, so they'll still up to 5. And then
Yeah.
the Heat will probably rest their guys against the Pistons, I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, Bam's out, Nunn's out, and like Jimmy's out.
Right. So
Milwaukee
potentially
will be Milwaukee Heat.
It won't matter. Milwaukee and the Bulls won't matter. And yeah,
okay,
we'll get Milwaukee Heat, like you said.
So Milwaukee Heat. So if the Nets win, they're in the 2 automatically. Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's shaking out there. And then the West is a little.
We'll find out.
So 3-6 could be Denver, Portland, Lakers, Dallas, or Clippers. So Denver or Clippers versus Portland, Lakers, Dallas.
So the West is really confusing. I'm just going to wait and let it play out.
Okay, if you're the Nuggets, who would you rather face, Dallas or Portland?
Portland.
I would Portland.
Yeah. So you'll probably get Portland if all 3 you'll get Portland if all 3 teams win. So you want all 3 teams to win. And then the Clippers, they'll get Dallas.
Again.
So yeah.
It's gonna be great. I can't wait for the play-in.
Bro, I love it. Everyone's like, last year was for fakesies, this year's for realsies.
And quickly, we'll go over the lottery odds here. So we've got right now in the driver's seat is Houston, Detroit, the Thunder, Orlando, Minnesota, the Cavs, Toronto, Chicago, Pelicans, Sacramento, Charlotte, Spurs, Pacers, and Memphis.
Congratulations on locking in that spot above us, Toronto. The Bulls still have a 26% chance to keep their pick, so fingers crossed on that one, unless they drop down even further. So I don't know. So I'm going to run so I can go get some food before these other games start because I am starving.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming out. I'll let you guys go, and then I'll tell everybody where to subscribe and everything like that. All right.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for letting me come back on our pod, guys.
No worries. You're welcome. Just let us know when you're available these days.
Later this week, we're going to have to, or here like tomorrow or the next day, we'll have to do like a deep dive on the play and once the West gets settled.
That's fine.
And then later this week, we got to have a beef chat.
Yep. All right. I'll see you guys later this week.
All right, later this week, boys.
Later.
Yeah. Tree's ugly.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. That was an excellent episode of the Charity Stripe Commentary. I had a ton of fun. Hope you had lots of fun. Please be sure to check us out on this YouTube. This is the Angry White Dad YouTube page. I'll be posting this video as well on the Charity Stripe Commentary YouTube page as well. We'll get that up and running so that we can stream on that one next time. We had a little bit of technical difficulties this time around, but you can follow Charity Stripe Commentary on Twitter and Instagram at CharityStripe23. You can follow Trey on Twitter at FinalFinally. He writes for the hoop-social.com as well. He shares everything on his Twitter, so just follow him there. You can join the Charity Stripe Commentary Facebook group and page, the Out of Bounds with the Z Facebook group and page. Subscribe to the Out of Bounds YouTube channel. We go live on there occasionally. I think the next time we have penciled in to go live on this, or on the Charity Stripe Commentary, is the draft lottery. As Trey mentioned, the Bulls lose the pick if it doesn't stay in the top 4. So that will be a fun night. That will be, watching to see if Trey gets to get one of those top excellent draft picks, or if the Bulls are, shutout of the draft next year. The Raptors get to keep their pick no matter what. So I'm excited for that. So please subscribe down here. You can go, that's the Angry White Dad page. We'll be posting the link to the Cherry Shark commentary page as well. Thank you so much. Have a good night.